Right on top of the basketball. Shannon Brown helping out defensively.
Kobe came up gimpy on that play. Then on the drive by Brown, Kobe's there and steps on Lamar. It seemed like, or Lamar stepped on him.
Kobe had a squad in 2010. The toughness, the athleticism, the skill, that crew had it all. Every player had a purpose geared toward winning a Laker championship. But like every good team, championship team, or historical team, your number one needs a number two. A true star, someone with a unique style of play, someone who's ready to take control when the time is right. MJ had Scottie, Shaq had Kobe, LeBron had Wade, but in 2008, Kobe got his own number two, and he relied on him more than many realized. As one NBA scout put it, if you like Dirk, you'll love Gasol. The Lakers loved Pau so much that they traded his brother Mark for him. You could thank Jerry West, Lakers fans. The logo man himself gave the Lakers Pau Gasol. Even Pau was shocked. Pau Gasol was good, very good. He was undoubtedly a top 15 player for much of the 2000s. He's one of the most underappreciated perennial all-stars of all time. And despite his run-ins with Blake Griffin, Pau Gasol was not soft.
I think one of the greatest misconceptions was that Pau Gasol was soft. Pau was not soft. Pau was just not a banger.
You know, people talk that KG kind of pushed him around.
KG? The same Kevin Garnett that Pau did this to 18 games into his career? The Lakers understood Pau to the bone. He wasn't going to be that anchor one might expect from a 7-footer. Unlike some behemoths that Kobe called soft, Pau shared one of the Mamba's greatest qualities.
To me, he was kind of the big brother that I never had. A person that I could count on, that I could rely on, that I could reach out and we could talk and we just enjoy it. Just talking about life, talking about decisions, talking about personal stuff. It meant so much to me.
His toughness came from competitiveness. And just how competitive was Pau? Enough to play through some terrible injuries.
And I know for a fact that he's tough because I know that he played hurt. I was a head athletic trainer. I know things that he had. I know he went out there and suffered games, but wanted to play.
Kobe knew a thing or two about playing through some terrible injuries. And in 2010, just before All-Star Weekend and a much-needed break, Bryant also suffered an injury.
How's the ankle feeling? The obvious question.
It's sore. Can't push off.
Kobe's injury was an interesting moment in the Lakers' 16th title run. It really showed some of the underrated characters that made that roster a classic squad. The Lakers lost Kobe for 5 games, and many expected the burden to weigh down on Pau Gasol, but it was that kind of a team. Any role player could win them any game, and in that stretch, they won 4 of 5. They had Metta, Lamar, Shannon Brown, but in Kobe's absence, all these guys fed off Pau Gasol.
But I think this things makes us stronger, and we got to prove now what kind of a team we are. And, we want to be champions.
It didn't matter that Kobe was out. The Lakers played like the #1 team in the West through all the adversity, falling just 1 point short against the Boston Celtics from capping a perfect 5-0 run without the Mamba. In that stretch, Kobe missed his second All-Star game ever since the event was suspended in 1999, robbing us of another episode of Kobe vs. LeBron. But the Mamba was on a different mission that season. It wasn't about being the best. Kobe already had that. And it wasn't about losing that throne. that wouldn't change him. It was the desire to never lose in the finals again, about redeeming 2008. After All-Star Weekend, Kobe recovered and refocused his team. They would lose a 3-game road trip against Orlando, Miami, and Charlotte before running off 7 straight wins immediately after. As defending champs, they did the job without an excuse. They were firmly atop the West by March and entered the playoffs a balanced, cohesive unit with home court advantage throughout the West.
First, as a teammate, he made me a better player. He brought the best out of me and on the basketball court. He helped me grow as a player and as a person.
We can time that up and be right in line with each other on this.
When the playoffs showed up, Pau showed up. Kobe was up against a young Kevin Durant, an even younger Russell Westbrook, and a rookie James Harden. But that team gave them problems. In general, the Lakers roster was a blueprint of skill and scheme, not athleticism. It worked in games 1 and 2 at Staples, but in OKC, things took a turn. Physically, that Thunder team was something most teams weren't prepared for. They existed on a spectrum of athleticism that most of the league didn't have. When the reality dawned on Kobe that his point guards could not stay in front of Russell Westbrook, he had to take over. But not in the typical Kobe fashion you'd expect. Kobe took care of the problem and his team took care of him. In Game 5, Bryant guarded Russ himself. He played that pull up your shorts and grind your teeth kind of defense, that competitor to the death defense. He only scored 13 points, but he shut Russ out. And as for the offense, Pau Gasol opened his bag inside out for the Lakers. With Kobe's curveball in Game 5, the Lakers recaptured all the momentum they needed for Game 6. It was the last home game in OKC. It was win or go home for the Thunder. It was a nail-biter. Kobe dropped 32 points. Pau, in 38 minutes of action, had 9. But much like Kobe in Game 5, Pau adapted toward winning. He grabbed more rebounds than anyone that game. And most importantly, he stayed ready when it mattered most. The funny thing about a number 2 is really they can be a number 1 in certain situations. Maybe they wouldn't be the best number 1 all the time, but if you were a team defending a final possession on the brink of elimination, you know you could get killed by a number 2.
Kobe, baseline fall away. No. Gasol, yes, on the follow.
Pau Gasol killed the Thunder. That first round series proved a lot. Pau was a killer, and Kobe wasn't what people said he had to be. He didn't have to be the guy who shot every shot. It's even simpler than that. He was the guy who wanted to win more than anyone. In 2008, Pau was just 4 months into his tenure with the Lakers, but he immediately knew what that tenure was going to be like. By 2010, he and Kobe were the best 1-2 punch in basketball. Every sixth man has an abundance of irrational confidence. So much confidence that if you put them in a second unit, they'll always have the potential to become the best player on the court.